Hey up, folks. New commentary time. This video's something of a turning point for the channel in a few ways. Like, usually with the first few videos I did, what it was, and when I first started this channel, like if you've listened to, I'm repeating myself if you've heard of the commentaries, but whatever. I had 2 weeks off work and I made a bunch of videos. This was the last one I made before having to go back to work, and it was a pretty satisfying one to do because this was the first. Out of the other 4 videos were just sort of like little circle jerky, sort of like this is what I think, and I'm just gonna a little video blog essentially. I might be a bit self-deprecating, but yeah, I'm just what I'm meaning. What the point I'm getting to is that I didn't really do much research. I fact checked and stuff like that, but I didn't really do much in the way of research. But this one was the first one where I was like, I didn't really know what the point was I was making. I knew I had some opinions. I knew that I felt that for a few years in big AAA games, boss battles were starting to get a bit rubbish and non-existent, and we're just all about they're essentially glorified cutscenes. And I sort of wanted to touch on that, but I figured it'll be easier I didn't want to just say, "Oh, boss battles are rubbish. They should be good." Instead, I started to think, well, what is a good boss battle? What is it about all those other ones that makes them good? And so I thought, oh god, I better do some research on this. I better actually read it up. And for a good 2 or 3 days, that's what I was doing. I was just reading up, looking at online forums. I was just reading books and stuff like that. And I was having real trouble. Just like I was. It was sort of like a make or break thing. At least from a creative standpoint, I was like, well, if I can't persevere and answer this somewhat simple, not simple, but just be able to answer this question in an entertaining manner, then I don't know, should I even be doing these videos? And I actually remember it quite clearly. This has sort of become my work ethic ever since then. Is that I studied for a bit, then I very specifically stopped. I remember I was just talking with my friend on Skype and I was playing Dark Souls or something. I was playing Dark Souls, I remember that quite clearly. Then all of a sudden, just like, once you let your mind settle for a bit, studying all the time just lets your mind get frazzled, And once I just sort of let my mind settle, all of a sudden the video just sort of all came into place. Like, the main bit, the main selling point, the main part where I realised, oh, I've got something to work with here, is when I realised that most, if not all, boss battles are, and I'm sort of saying, I'm sort of like being quite conservative about that. But maybe I'm wrong, but I've had no one call me out on it, and it's actually probably my most popular video. And anyway, the point, I'm getting off topic. What was my point I was making? Oh yeah, the all boss battles are either a test of skill or a puzzle, or a story type thing, which is the point I go towards at the end. That storied boss battles are fine, but they're not a replacement for actual boss battles. And once I realised that the skill versus puzzle, the video just sort of came on its own. Then I remember after realising that the next day, when I was still off work, I didn't get out of bed. I took my laptop into bed. I took all my books, all my notes. And as soon as I woke up, I just sort of reached out for my laptop and spent all day writing. And by the end of the day, I had the script that we're currently watching, and it was a really cool thing because it sounds really pompous for me to be talking like this, but it was such a satisfying experience because I can't stress enough. For a bit, I was thinking, oh, should I even do this? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, it's just. If I'm going to do this, should I not just do the usual thing I do, which is just spout my opinion and not really back anything up? This was almost like the beginning of me, like, being a lot more analytical, just a lot more trying to base it more in fact than just, I don't know, I'm trying to find the words I'm looking for. But anyway, yeah, this is one of those videos that, once I'm done with the video, I may go back to it every now and again, especially if there's a comment. Once I read the comment, I'll be like, oh, I might as well just watch the video, just let it ride. But this is a video that I find myself coming back to every 3 or 4 months, just because it was just such a satisfying thing. Mostly because it was the first time I was like, oh, I feel like in terms of editing, it's fine, but I feel like I hope my editing's gotten better. But especially in terms of scripting, I think this is possibly me at my best. I don't know. Who knows? Feel free to disagree. I don't know. But this is a video that I'm quite proud of. Well, I might have more to talk about in a grander sense, but let's actually just talk about the video. Why not? This is a rare case where I complain in other videos about how I just do a typical, have a bit of music, a few shots of things. It's fairly lazy, like my Stories in Open World video, my Jedi Knight video. But this is a case where it actually does work, and I think, I'll just play it. I'll mess about with the volume. For me, and I think the major reason that I think it works is just because the music is so fucking good. It's the Loreo theme from Link Between Worlds, the Zelda game. Possibly the only Zelda game I've completed. I'm not a very big fan of Zelda games, but the 2D Zelda games I like more. The 3D ones I don't care so much for. And this is also, I sort of started developing a subconscious rule. Like, these were a few games that I recorded, actually, no, I almost bit my tongue there. I should clarify first. As much as I love this video from a, scripting perspective, it's also sort of a bit of a shameful one, because at least, if not way over, half of the footage you're seeing is not mine. Like, let's quickly pop to the end. And you'll see on the next screen how long the list for footage taken from YouTube people is. That's sort of my biggest shame. I mean, you might just say whatever, and I suppose at least I give credit to. I don't know. Especially nowadays, like, I very, very go against. Try to just have my own footage. It's an ethical grade. I've been over it before, but anyway, yeah. So anyway, the point I was saying before I interrupted myself was what was the point I was saying? Oh yeah, if I recorded, I got the footage for the stuff, and I was like, I was quite self-conscious of the fact that I wasn't mentioning Zelda in a boss battle video. I wasn't mentioning, at least but for my attention, I wasn't mentioning the Incredible Hulk from a boss battle video, and at least by my view, those are quite good. And Contra is quite famous for its bosses. And and a sort of rule I did for a few videos, not all, I don't do it anymore, but for a few videos I was like, when I was doing my typical musical intro thing, if I'm not talking about a video, I'll at least give it its props in the opening. That was the thing I was going with. So I was like, oh, I don't mention Zelda, I might as well do that. Oh, I don't mention Hulk, I might as well put that footage there. And this was at the time I had trouble recording on the PS3. I've since, figured out the workarounds. If you've ever recorded on an Elgato on a PS3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to do all these weird workarounds, which I now have, but at the time I didn't. So yeah, this footage isn't mine. Right. Just quickly looking through my notes as usual. Sorry, I'm dead air as always. Yeah, but actually, during that opening ramble I did, I've already covered quite a lot. Oh yeah, okay, there we... I was going to talk about this later, but if you look at the Snake's health bar, just the way the lines are sort of spazzing about, like, that's for the entire video, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've since gotten better at, recording footage and putting it out in the right settings. I'm sure I put it out in the wrong settings, and so it's just it's not a very good looking video from that sense, which is a big shame, because like I said, I'm from a scripting perspective, I think this is top 3 at the very least, if not number 1. So that's a bit annoying. Like, if I was to do it all over again, that would not happen. But that being said, I don't know what the problem is. Like, I'll put it on a different setting or something. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, like I said, this was the turning point when I realised that, test of skill, that thing. And I was explaining, if you've listened to my discussion on walkthrough videos, my friend Lewis brings up my friend John, And I remember I was talking. John was the guy I was talking to on Skype when I had my wee epiphany, and he was just sort of like, "Oh yeah, so what's your name?" If you don't know about John, we like to make fun of him. He's a nice guy, but and he embellishes his. He's not a stupid person, but that's sort of like the characteristic we've given him, and he enjoys the attention, so we just keep doing it. But I remember I was explaining to him, like, he was like, "Oh, what's your next video going to be on?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's actually going to be on boss battles." And he said, "Oh yeah, you should definitely talk about Shadow of the Colossus." And I was just like, "Oh well, I actually am because." Yeah, I'm doing a whole skill versus problem solving sort of thing, and I'm saying that Shadow of the Colossus comes out, and I was being all arty for. I was being quite deep about it. And Shadow of the Colossus comes out on the problem solving side of things, blah 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 blah. And I had a little bit of a silence, and he just went, "Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is great." It just flew right over his head. I don't know, it's crap. I think it's quite funny. He's not listening to this. It's fine. Right, what the? I'm sorry. I usually go through this thing. I've made notes and I have no idea what they are. I've got a note here that says fairly. I don't know. Whatever. Right. Okay. The FTL footage back in the action bit was a little bit, because that actually is my footage. In fact, all this footage here is mine. This one was easy to get because I was playing through New Game Plus and Dark Souls anyway, and the Iron Golem was the one that I was just about to fight, so that was fine. I've still to complete Bayonetta 2, but that was the level I was on at the time. I was stuck in that boss, and I just sort of thought, oh, that's easy. FTL, on the other hand, I didn't have any saves, so I had to. And if you know that game, like, you can play that game for 2 hours, fail, then have to start again from the beginning. So this was me just finding the boss. I'm pointing at it with my pen, as if you can see that. This is me just finding the boss. You can see I didn't fare so well getting there. So I got a few seconds of footage of me fighting the boss. This took me This took me about 4 to 6 hours to actually get this few seconds of footage. Then when I did, as soon as I died, I just sort of clapped my hands and just sort of went, "Hey, cool, done. I got mine," you know. Yeah, we're just about to look at here we are. I think Batman Arkham Origins, is, from a gameplay standpoint, I don't think it's underrated, but from I think it's got the best story of all the Arkham games. I'm not saying that every game has to have Batman and the Joker in it, you know, against each other, but I've not even more so than the films. I think this game just gets their relationship. In fact, I almost did a great level sequence just talking about these two in this game, but also I feel like I've already said everything I needed to in this sequence here, where I stopped talking about boss battles and just talk about Batman and the Joker for a few seconds. But that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, I actually found myself playing through Batman Arkham Origins again just because I just love the portrayal of the Joker in it. I feel like the writing in the other Arkham games is pretty weak, especially Arkham Knight. Oh gosh, but Arkham Origins, I know it wasn't done by them, and I'd say that, you know, Rocksteady knew what they were doing from a gameplay perspective, but from a writing, I figured they're out. I think they're out of their depth. Oh yes, the weird sex gag. Not really intentional. I won't put the volume up. I just say, I sort of mentioned the footage of Raiden running up the stairs. I say something about, like, you know, oh yeah, it's all about the build up. It's like excuse me, I just sneezed. I talk about here, it's like, oh, it's like foreplay, and then the shot of him looking about with his gun. I say, oh, you're just waiting for what's to come. And I sort of realised whilst I was editing, I was like, oh, foreplay coming. Oh, why did I do that? So I specifically, in the editing, I usually like to leave up maybe sometimes a little bit of a gap in between my lines, and, you know, just to give it a little bit of space to breathe. But for that one, I just wanted to get on with it because I was figuring that if I left too long, people would be too busy thinking about the weird sex gag. But I figured that if I just got on with it, if I just like a train, if I just spiraled on, people wouldn't notice it, you know? You tell me, did it work? This bit here, I'm going to mess about the volume a bit at the time. There's a weird clicking noise, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know when it is. It's coming up in a second. If I mess about with the cursor thing, I'll miss it. Okay, here, listen to this.
To pass through or not. Although, before even teasing the boss, you should first be looking at the core gameplay. What do you...
I don't know what that little click was. It's weird. I think in one or two other videos it appeared as well. Maybe it's the cable of my microphone hitting the shelf or something, but I don't know. Again, a lot the footage for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City is not mine. Unfortunately, I didn't own the games at the time. I think I did own Arkham City, but unfortunately, ashamed to say, I was just quite lazy. Like, I want footage for Mr. Freeze, and that's like in towards the final third of the game. Maybe I did a bit before, but after doing the FTL footage, I was a bit exhausted. I was just sort of like, I just want to edit it. I just want to get on with it. But actually, for Arkham Origins, I did record a lot of my own footage, but most of it, the Killer Croc stuff worked out fine. But this stuff here, like, I didn't get to Bane, but I got to Deathstroke, but that didn't turn out well. Like that, I don't know what. It was the Elgato HD 60, I think, and for some reason it started, like, maybe I wasn't looking after it properly, but it started that the footage was not coming through very well. In fact, after this video, for a few videos, I had to use Fraps as a backup for my Call of Cthulhu and for those 2 reviews I did. For two of the reviews I did, I had to use Fraps, which was a bit annoying because it takes up so much. I think the frame rate took a big hit. Right. Oh yeah, and now all the God of War footage reminded me. I actually, on Twitter, just for attention, I sent this video to Scott Rogers, the guy who worked on God of War and Darksiders and Maximo series and a bunch of other stuff, and he wrote a book that's something of a Bible I have called Level Up. I've got the book right here. Let's read the title. The Guide to Great Video Game Design. And he actually had a wee segment on boss battles, and it came quite in handy, so I sent him a wee tweet saying, "Oh yeah, I made this video, hope you'll check it." Not expecting to hear back from him, but he got back in touch. I was like, "Yeah, that was really great, well done." Just sort of thing. Nothing more to the story, just he liked this video. And he referenced a bit towards the end, so that lends me to believe he did genuinely watch it, That's nice. In fact, the thing he did reference was that towards the end of me talking about Mr. Freeze, I mentioned, despite it being the weakest of the series, Arkham Origins, blah, 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 and I wonder if he's not the only one, but he's the only person to come out and say, yeah, but why did you say that Arkham City was the weakest of the series? That's a silly thing to say. I was like, oh, no, Arkham Origins is the weakest of the series. He was like, oh, okay. Yeah, interesting story, I don't know. But I really love that anime. That footage is mine. Whereas all the Far Cry stuff isn't. Like, Far Cry was going to be difficult to get the footage of because I was like, the stuff I wanted was from near the end of the game, and it doesn't have a level select function. And I did record this, but it came out bad, so I just had to take something from YouTube, which is really unfortunate. I love this animation. I love the animations in this little sequence here are so good. Like when Batman's trying to defend himself, and it's like a final flurry, he kicks Bane in the face. I just love this animation. It's desperate. It's like there's so much of the characters coming out in it. It's just so great. Yeah, as for the storied boss fights, this bit here, actually, I don't know. I was going to say I've got a note about it, but I don't really have much to say about it. To begin with, I come off quite positive on them. This was just me doing my. If you've seen my maze, the magic maze, I always do there's no such thing as bad game design mindset. And so to begin with, I was coming off quite positive because, like, the Arkham Origins, the Jedi Knight, all that stuff I really like. But fair enough if people really don't like them because they're not really boss battles, but And I was just going, when I thought of the puzzle solving versus skill thing, the whole reason for this video, I started thinking, yeah, but there are other bosses battles that I do like, but they don't really fit this mold. They're not technically boss fights. Oh, I could just mention that in the video, you know? That sort of thing. This is the main thing I took from the Scott Rogers book, the camera placement. Very wise. Smart man. Did I pass the Contra bit? Yeah, I think sort of by accident I created something kind of beautiful here. Just the music fits really well with the visual of this thing from Contra 3 just climbing up.
The sense of scale is important in boss fights, especially against large ones.
It's kind of mesmerising. I don't know, I just think it looks quite cool. The use of music in this video was back in the early days of where I didn't really know what to do with it. I knew I wanted background music, I knew I wanted nice music, but even to this day I'm not 100% sure how to go about like transitioning, how to the best use of music. So the music being used, it's being used in a very scripting format. Like if you were to see the scripts, you'd see that the music sometimes changes in between paragraph breaks, you know, quite frankly. I mean, I knew that I sometimes want to have the music come down when I was saying something that I wanted to stand out. Like, I think the entire script is important, but you just sort of have to start picking and choosing like the things you really want to get across or is important for what you're about to say. And so I knew that, but apart from that, even to this day, I'm still not entirely sure how to handle music. Especially the changing of music. Like usually what I do is I have a song fade out and then I have another one fade up, and it just sounds kind of cheap. I'll talk more about that in other videos because I feel I've started to change. Like the Wolfenstein video, I think it's the next one I'm going to be talking. Not the next video I'm going to be talking about in commentary wise, but the next video where it's like. I like the script to that one, but the editing for that I think is maybe some of the best stuff I've done. I think, and that was when I started approaching music in a different manner. So I'll talk more about that then. That's not my footage, but someone renamed Tidus to Boner, which is always good fun. Okay, I think that's me talked about all that stuff, but the main there's what I want to talk about the ending. I want to talk quite a bit about the ending. I'm just quickly checking over my notes, making sure that there's nothing else I've missed out on. Oh yeah. Not so much about this video, but like Dark Souls. I don't think this channel would exist without Dark Souls. I wanted to like. Excuse me. I wanted to do this channel. I wanted to do some sort of form of video, a YouTube series about video games. But Dark Souls is just sort of like reinvigorate. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It sort of reinvigorated my love for video games. Because for a while I felt like video games were maybe getting a touch too easy, which isn't a bad thing by any stretch, but. I'm not saying that Dark Souls is a particularly hard game, but Dark Souls is a game that asks a lot of you. And I just... Usually ideas for these videos come about because I'm playing a game and I see an interesting trope or I see something interesting I want to talk about. And for a long time it was all just mainly about Dark Souls. Like, I was playing a lot of Dark Souls and I was thinking, oh, that's interesting from Dark Souls. Oh, this is interesting from Dark Souls. Yeah, I remember what year 2011? What other games were out that year? Like Skyrim, Saints Row, stuff like that. Just all like fine games. It feels like to cater to a wide audience, you sort of have to be a lot more forgiving. And Dark Souls was just completely the opposite of that, and asks something of you, but gives so much more as a result. So yeah, it took me a while to get into Dark Souls. My friend Lewis from the walkthroughs video was the one that got me into playing it, and it just, I don't think I would care so much about being analytical about games as I would if it wasn't for Dark Souls. So thank you, Dark Souls. My flatmate's playing Dark Souls 3 as we speak. I'm not playing it just now. Just quickly check my notes. Weird Click, recorded lots of Batman, Scott Rogers, Mr. Freeze, I've mentioned all that. Right, okay, yeah, let's talk about the ending. And the boss fights, I'd maybe say the boss fight with the end in Metal Gear 3 is one of my favourite bosses of all time, I think. Not entirely sure. Not thought about it that much. It might make an interesting top 10. I don't know, probably not. I don't think I'll do that, shouldn't have. Okay, the ending. Actually, the script as a whole, this ending paragraph where I talk about technology, blah blah, stuff like that, was originally like in the script for a while. This is how I opened it. This is when I wasn't very good at writing these scripts. This was going to be the opening of the video, and for ages I just couldn't get it to work. Then I realised I'm giving away everything at the beginning. Like, I'm giving this is an ending paragraph, so clearly is. And so I remember just copying or cutting and pasting the opening paragraph and putting it to the end, and all of a sudden the script's just, oh, there it is, where have you been hiding, and I rewrote a standard sort of boss battle, or the main purpose of the boss battle opening that we all know and love. I know, but even after I had that, I still wasn't. I was originally going to end it on a really dumb joke. Like, you can't see them, but the inverted commas are heavy in the air. Where it was like, oh, we're going to be stuck with things like this or this, and then it cuts to the Uncharted footage and I say, or this. Oh, this is so bad. It's really cringy even to think about. I was like, ask anyone who makes video content. The hardest thing sometimes to do is knowing how to end it. Like, you want to end it on a bang, not a whimper, or if it is a whimper, a nice whimper. And whilst I was editing, I really wasn't sure what to do. I had recorded footage of me saying, like, oh, I love this game, but Jesus Christ, then a hard cut to credits, and it wouldn't have been funny. It would just have been not terrible, I suppose, but not good by any stretch of the imagination. But then I was editing stuff, but then once I realised I was going to use 17 Years by Rat-a-tat, that really, really great song that comes over the end, it changed it from a slightly jokey sort of thing to all of a sudden quite melancholic's not the right word, like foreboding, like, boss battles should be good, but they're not good just now, sort of thing that I talk about. And so it sort of changed the aura of it all, and it was actually quite satisfying when it worked out. This ending's really good. Right, the order. I almost didn't include the order because I haven't really played it, even though I've seen a lot of footage about it. I know all about it. I've read all the reviews and such. But B, I know someone that works on the order, and I don't think she's seen this video, but I don't think she'd be happy with me, like, sort of bad mouthing it the way I have here. And maybe she'd be okay with it, but I noticed on Twitter that she was a little down when the reviews came out. But hey, she's young. She'll be fine. I sometimes worried that here we are, Far Cry 3 and 4. I worried I was getting a little bit off topic here, but this was like the crux of the video. This is why I made this video, because like I love Far Cry 3 and 4, especially 3. But I feel like I remember just being so disappointed by the boss battles in those games. And I sort of felt like a little paragraph, a little sentence was warranted, because it's basically the whole reason I made this video, because I started to notice that boss battles aren't that great anymore. And I think that'll do us. I think I've ran out of things to talk about. A little error here. There's maybe more errors. I'm just quickly checking over it, but there's an error here. Bayonetta 2. There are not two Bayonetta 1 games, But yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna sue me? Nah, no, you're not gonna sue me. Oh, it's so long. The music for this game's really good. For this video is really good. I don't mind saying. And this was when I was still like, I don't know what to do for the ending. Oh, I'll just, I don't know, do this. It's fine. I change that as time goes on. I just finished as of recording, I've just finished my latest loading screen video. And that's going to have a slightly different ending. It's quite cute. Maybe I'll keep that from now on. A little, you'll see what I mean when you see it. And I think that'll do it. Let me just quickly check my notes. I feel like I should be more professional about this, but whatever. I'm in my dressing gown right now. I'm chilling out. I was working hard on the loading screen video, and now I'm just doing this. So I'm just taking it easy. Yeah, I think that's everything. And yep, thanks for watching, thanks for being patrons, thanks for being lovely and attractive, and see you guys soon.